Hello, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is the weekly angel card reading for Monday the 9th of October to Sunday the 15th, 2017. So if you haven't seen one of my videos before, what I do is I draw a different card for each day of the week, which I later post on my social media channel, so you can get the update each day if you prefer to go this way. The reason I do a video for the week is because it's useful to see the themes and patterns that are emerging for the week. So this is not going to predict what's going to happen to you. Everybody's experience is going to be very different, so nothing's set in stone here. All this does is give you an idea of the sorts of things you need to bear in mind as you face what comes up for you. I'm very much a believer of the mantra that everything that happens in your life doesn't happen by mistake. It is a relationship between what you put out and what the universe gives you, okay? So nothing, I don't believe in, fate is in terms of things happening without you contributing to that. So everything that happens is a co-creation, which is why it explains why sometimes things don't happen. If we're sitting around expecting them and not making any effort, that explains how it can take time for things to happen. I'm very much of the whole action focused kind of school of thought. And that's why I always make it very clear to people who come to me for readings, I'm not going to predict your future, because the future is something you are making yourself. And all this action focused talk is very relevant right now because we had an Aries full moon on Friday, in my time zone anyway. It was Friday morning. And Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, which is the motivator planet. So this is a great time to really get going on the things that you want to make happen. So anyway, without further ado, I'll shuffle the cards for Monday. Usually the angels tell me to stop. It's sort of a feeling I get, or like this, the card just sort of jumps out, falls out. Yeah, it's very intuitive. So, okay, the first card is emotional sensitivity. Now, the word sensitive is kind of a PR problem. Like, we think being sensitive is a bad thing. It's not. It's a beautiful thing. It's your sensitivity that enables you to sense when things are not quite right. It enables you to pick up on other people's body language. It enables you to communicate with the divine, because that's your intuition. It's all about sensitivity. So this is asking you, now what I'm getting here is that this was more not really about the intuitive kind of sensitivity. It's more like the sensitivity of your emotions. So you might be feeling a little bit emotion on Monday, and this is asking you to show some self-compassion that day, and anytime, in fact, next week, or ever, in fact, anytime you're having a hard time with your emotions. The most important thing you can do is be patient with yourself, because telling yourself you're being stupid, or you're whatever it is, whatever kind of crazy narrative you've got going on, it's really unhelpful. So try and be patient with yourself. Have some empathy, and just try and ride the wave out. Know that sometimes the best thing you can do is just know that you're going to get another chance tomorrow. We're taught to kind of chase happiness at all costs, and if you're not happy, we'll just smile and we'll all be okay. And I find that really unhelpful. If you're feeling sad, you have a right to feel sad. Whatever you're feeling, you are perfectly entitled to feel that way. And trying to deny your feelings and chase another is not really that helpful, I find. I'm no expert on this, but try and honour whatever feelings, whatever experience you're having. And obviously if you've got prolonged sadness, that's something you might need to talk to your doctor about. And it's also something you might want to be trying to take some action about in terms of challenging what's going on for you, looking at gratitude, all those sorts of things to try and lift yourself up. There's nothing wrong with feeling what we call negative feelings, though personally I think all feelings are relevant and important and valuable, because they will teach us something. But you don't want to stay in those sort of darker moods for very long, because that will you'll get in one of those negative thought spirals, and it's very hard to lift yourself out. So I'm all for positive thinking, and if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I'm all about it. That's how we kind of attract things that we want in our lives, and work with the universe to kind of manifest blessings. But it's very important not to pretend things are great when they're not, because that's the way we try and pretend to everyone else that we're coping, and it just sets us up for failure. But in saying that, I do think trying to lift yourself up is a really valuable thing to do, because you don't want to stay in that place. Things start to pile on top of you then. Oh, it's 5 minutes already and I've only done one day. I better stop talking and start shuffling. Tuesday, perfect timing. I love any message about timing because I struggle with patience a lot, and I think you guys probably do too, because we live in a world where we can find out anything we want. We can deliver any food we want at the touch of a button. We're all about instant gratification now. That's just not how the universe works. So this card is reminding us things happen when they need to happen and not before. So if that perfect partner hasn't shown up for you yet, maybe they're not ready to meet you yet, maybe you're not ready, maybe there's more work to do. There are things we can do to accelerate that, but in terms of our own personal development, making sure we're in the best state of mind for a relationship, just since I'm using that as an example. But ultimately it happens when it needs to happen, and there are things going on behind the scenes that we can't see, that the universe, things that need to be in a row before this happens. So try to be patient with that process. Now the other thing to know about this card is some of you who've been delaying, and they're really highlighting the word procrastinating here. Some of you have really been delaying doing something that you know you need to do and you also want to do, and it's big. They're saying big life purpose sort of stuff, projects you're starting or businesses, whatever it is. You guys know obviously what's right for you, so you'll know what this means for you, but they're very much saying this is the time to get started on that. Really get started, stop delaying. We had a similar message last week about procrastination. Procrastination is a result of fear. We procrastinate because we fear that we're not good enough or we're going to fail. So if we don't start, then we're not going to fail. But in fact, if we fail to start, we are failing. So it's not really a helpful kind of way of protecting us. Just get going. It's all going to work out. You just have to start first. And even if it doesn't work out, you're going to get something you need out of that process. Wednesday. So those messages sound a little bit like they conflict the idea between you need to wait and the idea of you need to get started, but actually they don't. And you need to make things happen, but you need to understand that even when you're doing your best, sometimes things still need to fall into place behind the scenes that you can't see. So go for gold, but understand it still may take time. So don't be discouraged by that and don't give up. Wednesday. Favourable outcome. I like this because it kind of ties in with what I was just saying about success and failure. So for those of you who are starting things, they are telling me there's a direct link here between these two. If you are embarking on a new project, a new business, a new venture, a new transformation, whatever it is, please get going, because you need to know there is going to be a good outcome to this. That does not mean it's going to be perfect, and it doesn't mean it's going to necessarily pan out in the way that you envisage, but it does mean it's going to be good for you and positive, so please get going. Now some of you are really struggling with some, gosh, they're emphasising the water on this and like showing me people kind of moving underneath the water. If you feel like you've been drowning or you've been kind of buried under something, something's been pulling you down for a long time, you're going to rise. And so it's kind of signalling that the success is going to come from that. But again, this does depend on you taking steps to make that happen. It's not going to turn up instantly and fall into your lap like a winning lottery ticket or anything like that. So your faith is really important here, having faith that that's going to happen and not being despondent or fatalistic about it, which is if like me you've grown up in a family of pessimists, that might be kind of your instinct to protect yourself by being, oh, it'll never work out, or whatever it is, whatever the pattern is. Just be aware of where that's coming up for you and try and challenge it, because you don't want to get into a situation where you're predicting bad things to happen only because it means you can control them. That just keeps you stuck. We think it keeps us safe, it doesn't. It keeps us stuck. You can't insulate yourself against bad things happening by being all doom and gloom. It doesn't work. We have two cards for Thursday. Animals. This is only going to relate to some of you. It's very specific. If you've been thinking about working with animals, go do it. If you've got a special bond with an animal that is real, please work with that animal and try and give it what it needs, because you're here, you guys have got a good connection, you're here to help the animal and it will help you. sign from above. This speaks to so many people. Honestly, every time I post anything about signs, it gets so many hits because everybody's interested in signs from the universe. And that is, in some ways, that's because people want to feel reassured that what they sense is real, that there is a power out there greater than us. They want that confirmation. And in some ways, people just like it because they think it takes away their the pressure on them to make a decision. Oh, I've seen this, people keep talking about this company, it's a sign, I'm supposed to work there. Sometimes that can be a sign, but sometimes it's, you already knew it was the right thing to do, you were just delaying making that decision and you're looking for something external to make it for you. And since we're all about action at the moment, it's really important that you make choices that are right for you and don't be afraid to make them. Your best barometer, your best compass is always going to be your intuition. If it feels right, go for it. Don't delay because you're not sure if it's right. If you know it's right, you're just afraid to do it, and that's okay, but you don't want to stay in that fear zone because it just keeps you trapped. So there are a whole bunch of signs the universe and the angels leave for us. They can be finding feathers in unexpected places, coins, rainbows, distinctive cloud formations. There are a ton of these online if you want to look for them. Song lyrics is another one. Songs that jump out at you when you've asked for a sign. So that, you know, the purpose of this card is to ask you, if you feel doubtful, if you feel alone, if you feel like you're off track, ask the universe for a sign. I do this when I've received a message from my intuition and my brain starts clicking in and going, no, that doesn't make sense, you've misread that. Or no, you made that up. Whatever it is, whatever story is going on, I ask for a sign to confirm it and I always get it. And if I don't, I know I've misread it, but to be honest, that very seldom happens because my intuition is pretty spot on. I doubt it sometimes, but it's still strong. So in other words, I often receive the messages but don't necessarily trust they're right, and I think it's probably the same for a lot of people. So trust the signs, ask for them, because it just makes it easier for the angels to communicate with you. So Friday we're up to. Friday. I'm not feeling right about this. I'm going to switcheroo. It's Aussie slang for swap. Friday, I forget sometimes that I've got a lot of viewers from different parts of the world. Friday, leadership. Oh, we've got a lot of yellow here, don't we? Anyway, so Archangel Gabriel's on here. That is the angel of communication. You can see there's a trumpet there that's symbolic of like the throat chakra, the voice, if you think about, you know, how those instruments work. And it's signaling to you that it's time for you to step up and take charge and to use your communication to do that. So that might mean you standing up and saying something that needs to be said. You taking charge by being like the messenger in your team at work, perhaps. So you communicate what between different parties, or you're the messenger or the medium. Excuse me. Now, I always talk about this notion of leadership whenever this card comes up, because a lot of people are afraid of leadership and they think that power corrupts. Power can corrupt, but only if you let it. Power is actually a really good thing. It's only going to corrupt you if you've got bad intentions or you're acting from a place of fear. And I know if you're watching this, you're not going to do that. So power is a positive thing. It's like the action stuff that I was talking about. It's your motivation, your Mars, your it's what drives you. It can be aggressive if you let it, but really it's more about being assertive, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's time for you to take charge. A lot of you, this is going to be about having leadership and taking charge in your own lives, instead of letting yourself get caught up in the waves and just going with the flow. No, it's time for you to actually step forward and make things happen off your own bat. Friday. No, sorry, Saturday. Living in the past. Oh, hello. Sacred space. I find it really difficult when this one comes up because there are a lot of people watching this who perhaps aren't as entrenched in spirituality as others. So if you are already a spiritual person, you probably already have an altar in your house, or some place where you go to meditate, where you go to, it's just yours, or some place where you light a candle, or you do something like that. If you don't, and that's something you've been thinking about doing, this is confirmation that's right for you. But this is really just asking you to spend some time in stillness. So for some of you, that might be visiting a church, or someplace on your own. It might be a corner of your garden where you can go, just be still and listen to your intuition. It's about you needing to really stop going through the motions, and to really listen to what you need to do, and respond to that. And for some of you, you might need a geographical place to do that, a physical space. For others, it'll just be, this idea of sacred space would be more ethereal, I guess, like a state of mind rather than a physical destination you go to. It's about being quiet and listening, really. So Sunday, for some of you, they're saying this is reminding you to get back into your meditation practice every single day. Really important. And I am telling you this as someone who constantly falls off the wagon with this. I just need one day to forget, and then I will not do it because I'm busy or whatever, and then I'm out of the habit, and that's to my own detriment. So yeah, I need to get back into that habit too, because the last few days I have let it lapse, and I really feel the difference when I don't do it. So this reminds me to get on track with that. Soulmate. So everyone loves this card, I tell you, particularly if I'm doing a reading with someone who is looking for their soulmate. So let's start with the singles, since that's the most obvious place to start. So the term soulmate, sometimes in spirituality we talk about the twin flame. I like to use the word soulmate because it's so easily understood in our popular culture. If you are looking for your soulmate, this card is asking you to have hope. There is someone out there for you, and you do deserve it. And if there is any unconscious belief in your brain that says, I don't deserve it, I'm not good enough, it's never worked out for me before, it will never work out for me again, this is asking you to really challenge those beliefs, because your beliefs create your experience. So really think about the ways you might be sabotaging yourself. Sabotage is a bit of a mean word, but the ways you're getting in your own way, let me put it that way, it's kinda, we all do this, gosh. One day I'm going to write a blog post about how many years it took me to meet my man, and it was my own, sounds harsh to say it was my own fault, but I certainly blocked myself constantly, again and again and again, and I knew it, but I didn't want to change, and I didn't want to, there were lots of things going on. One day I'll write a post about it, but in the meantime, what you guys need to know is, look at what you can do. You cannot change other people, you cannot make someone come into your life any faster, but you can make yourself the best partner you can possibly be, and it's by working on yourself, making sure you have a healthy relationship with yourself. You're not needy, you're not looking for someone to complete you. You need to be able to complete yourself, because this whole idea of needing another half is just setting up a really unhealthy dynamic of dependence. What else do I need to tell you? I'll try and put this delicately. Some of you are in relationships with people who are not your soulmates, and you know it. And look, there are all sorts of reasons for that. I personally believe that we can have lots of soulmates. And also in spirituality, we often talk about lots of soulmates because we don't just say it in a romantic sense. So your siblings, your parents, your close friends, they're all your soulmates, because your souls have literally had a connection from past lives and have come through together because you need to be near each other and you need to teach each other things. So there's that to bear in mind too. But I would say this is about romance, and I would say that if you are in a relationship where your needs are no longer being met, or where you've already learned the lesson you need to learn, and you'll know if this is the case for you, this is really challenging you to free yourself from that situation so you can be available for the person who you're meant to be with next. And I don't mean to what's the word? I don't mean to make light of where you are now and say that there's something wrong with that. But relationships will only last as long as they're meant to last. You know, this whole fairy tale idea of forever and ever is sort of a Hollywood construct. So I know some relationships do last forever, but trying to hold on to something when you know it's not meant to be a forever thing is really, you're getting in your own way. Now, if you are in a relationship with your soulmate, that's awesome. And honestly, I hope you know how lucky you are, because the majority of people who come to me would give anything to be in your shoes. And I know that we have this fallacy in our society that once you've met your soulmate, everything's all G and you'll never have problems again. But of course, when you're in that relationship, you know that it's a lot of work every damn day. And this is reminding you, are you doing that work? Are you still showing up for each other? Are you taking each other for granted? Are you spending enough time together? Are you really appreciating what your partner is giving you and what you're giving them? Are you really appreciating how fortunate you are to have that connection? Are you having the conversations you need to have, or are you putting on a mask, putting up a front? So some big questions there. You'll know what this means for you. And when I post this card, I try not to make my Instagram captions too long, but I will try and give some more information for the singles who are looking for their soulmates, because, excuse me, it really is such a big area. And having searched for mine for a very long time, I know how hard it is, and I know how much work it is to do as well, but totally worth it. And then you meet them and you've got more work to do. Oh well, that's life. We're all here to learn, and it keeps going. We're not here to stagnate. Yeah. Right, so we've got a lot of yellow here. We've got messages about emotions, about timing. I think this action stuff is still a really dominant theme, and I'm not just saying that because of the Aries full moon. Expectations of success, signs from the universe, leadership. Yeah, it feels very almost like a masculine energy. To clarify, both men and women have masculine energy in the same way that men also have feminine energy. We try to have a good balance of both. It doesn't always work out, but what you need to know here is if you tune into that real masculine energy, the yang energy, we know obviously if you know anything about Chinese medicine or Chinese sort of philosophy, the yin and the yang, we're looking for balance. It's the two together that work. Now, so I've gone off track, haven't I? You already have that energy is what I'm saying to you. You just need to tap into it and work with it. Yeah, okay. Leadership, that's where I was. Needing to have some stillness and to tune in, and looking for your soulmate. It's a mixed bag, but yeah, I do think that the action stuff is the strongest stuff about leadership and success, and timing in terms of going for it. That said, I'll put these on my social media. My Instagram is @OneGroundedAngel. That's ONE, not the number one. My Facebook page is One Grounded Angel. If you wish to book a personal reading with me, you can do that at my website, www.onegroundedangel.com, or by emailing me. My email address is in my bio on Instagram, and I will post these each day giving more detail. And don't forget, the meaning may change by the time you get around to the day. So, you know, what the card for Friday may have taken on a new layer of meaning by the time you get there, because your circumstances will have changed. So everything you take from this is valuable, but bear in mind you may go deeper as that time comes around. Thank you so much for your love and support of my work. I send all my love back to you, and I ask that you do the very best you can this week, because with that emotions card coming through, I feel like it is going to be kind of an emotional week for some of us. So please be kind to yourself and to yourselves and to the people around you. Take care.